And we're talking about, this is part 3.
No parts. We haven't have any parts. We're not doing all these parts. You don't have to watch this. It's very long. I was just saying that Salome, hearing what they have to say, Mark Rydell, Marty Landau, those moderators that we have here in LA, I can't tell you. And then to hear from the group and to have a safe place where you can, stretch yourself, work on your craft, have a place to be able to do something, and there's no money exchanged.
Right.
It's a very rare thing. I mean, if you think about
Very
it.
rare.
It's just an incredible gift that we're given. And, however you could try to get in there, if I was a young actor, I would try. Because you can try every year, and you can keep studying till you get in there. It's a process to get in, I think. But I think it's really, really important to have a safe haven. There's another place that I really love, and it's called Bobby Moresco. It's called the Actors Gym. Do you know about that?
I've heard about it, yes, for a while.
Bobby he wrote Crash. Do you remember the movie
The
Crash?
movie, yeah, that's what,
Won an
yeah,
Oscar.
right.
He is brilliant, and he's an actor studio guy too, but he has this Actors Gym, he calls it, and he does it on Saturdays. And
Where is it at?
It's at the White Fire, is that called? The White Fire Theater on Ventura Boulevard.
In the valley or
in the valley?
Oh,
I want to say White Horse, but that was a bar.
That was a bar, the White Horse Tavern.
By HBO.
Yeah, it was.
Studios.
It was a very famous. That's where what's his name? The Irish. What was his name? Oh God. It'll come to me. He did 16. Yeah, it's seen too many bats to the head when I was a kid.
I know.
What's his name?
What's his name?
He went in there and he had 18 doubles, and he says that's a world's record, And he drank them and then he died.
No.
The famous Irish.
Was he an actor?
He was a poet. He wrote poetry and.
Leonard Melfi?
No, the Irish, and I did his. Oh God, what's his name? His wife was. Are
we in part 3 now?
Yes, we're in part 3.
Dear.
It'll come to me in a minute
Okay.
if we don't think about it.
Well, if we don't think about the White Horse, because what we would do as actors, back when we were studying with Uta Hagen, is we would do our scenes, and then we would go to the White Horse, and have a few beers or have whatever we drank, and talk about how great we were.
Yeah.
Even she had just ripped us apart and told us that we had, needed to go back to square one and maybe reread the script again. But we would sit there, and by the time we were done, we were fabulous. We thought we were so good, and that, we're going to go in there and show her, and we're going to do it again, So it was really the good old days back in New York doing those scenes and working out at that HB studio. But we were talking about Bobby Moresco's acting gym,
Right.
this thing, and what he does over there is, I like what he does. He does something. He after you get through doing your work, a lot of scripts are being developed there. Actors are getting up and reading parts for people. It's a great group. It's a very safe group too, to be involved with. And the money is very low. I mean, it's not that much money to be there.
But what do you do? I mean, when you say, do they do scenes?
Yeah, you can do scenes. Like if you and I were going, we could do a scene together,
Right.
and then we could then say, after we did the scene, Bobby will say, do you want to hear just from me, or do you want to hear from the group?
Critique. Yeah.
Is that making a little noise over
No,
there?
that was the mic.
So I like that. I like that choice. And then we could say, oh, you know what? We just want to hear from you today, Bobby. Or, no, we want to hear from everybody. We want to hear what you have to say. So there's something nice about that, because it, makes you feel safe. Because sometimes you don't really want to hear what everybody has to say. I remember one time at the studio.
Well, it depends on who's saying it. And,
hello.
I hear people that, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I hear people at the studio sometimes critiquing work, and yet when I see their work, they don't know the work. They know how to say the work, but they don't know how to do the work.
Well, it's tricky. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, it's
know
true.
what I'm
I mean, but
my husband says something else after that. Everybody's got an opinion, just like they all have them.
like they have an S.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
so, I think that in acting, there's a lot of opinions. This is a very funny thing. When I come out of a movie theater, I told you I go to movies all the time, and I hear people going, well, I don't know. I didn't think he was that good. I thought that person. it gets me so upset. I think to myself, I want to say to them, you try to do it. You try to make that happen.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I just find that there's always something that I can get and take or be inspired from in a movie. I mean, there has never been, I mean, the worst of movies, I have seen something in there that has stayed with me. But that's how I feel. I mean, I just feel it's like looking at a painting and going, ooh, I don't like that. It's like, who cares what you like? Why does everybody have to give their opinion?
You're right.
I
Well,
don't
actors
understand it.
on the bottom of the totem pole, everybody thinks they can act.
That's true.
And that's why you see some of these films, student films or whatever they are being done, all the money and everything goes into the lighting, the camera,
Yeah.
this and that, and then they hire their friends who've never acted to do the parts.
That is so true, because the other day there was this young girl, and she was talking to me about acting and wanted to study or something. I don't know. And she bamboozled me. She was so exciting to listen to, and she had fascinating stories, and she was telling me about this and this boyfriend and that boyfriend and this and that husband and this child, and I was just like. And then she said, you know, and she was talking about her acting and what she'd done, and I mean, I was totally bamboozled. This is what happened. She said, you know, and I mean, I'm just taken with this girl. I got a ticket over it, a parking ticket. Anyway, so I'm just like, her life was like, oh my gosh, and then, you know, I don't really know how good she is or whatever, but I was just bamboozled by her. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I think that happens to me a lot. I mean, people will tell me things and I'm just like, I can't believe it's happening. I think that maybe BY, is that some way to talk? BY. I think that might be why people like reality television. Are we just like mesmerized by what they're doing? Like we can't believe that's what we're seeing?
No, I don't watch it. So
You haven't seen any of it?
I don't watch any that's. I
My
very rarely
daughter
watch
does.
network TV. I watch public access, not public. I mean PBS.
Yeah.
And
Oh
things
no,
like
I
that.
watch
And-
everything. My daughter loves it. You know, all the 20-year-old kids love this reality TV.
Yeah.
You know, with this.
Because they don't know any better.
They don't. They're not growing up with real acting. They're growing up with this
Right, they're
reality
growing
stuff.
up with who can, outdo them.
Yeah, the Kardashians.
Right,
And
and
this
this
and that and there. And then, you know, my daughter was like these birthday parties. I mean, how can you compete with these people on these reality shows? It's crazy.
Acting in America is a dying art.
You think?
I believe it is. I mean, it's.
What about all the great indie films that are
well,
out there?
but they're not being seen. I mean, you heard, even
Maybe
they
I'm
said
the
at
only
the
one that sees
studio.
them.
Remember, I heard Mark and them talk about it. I mean, years ago, when you looked at films that Mark did and other people
Yes.
did, it was with studio people surrounded, which
Yes.
acted. Today's you can't do that.
Mm.
You can't use good actors. You got to use ratings. How much money will that person bring in from Europe?
Yes, but there are these indie films.
But they're not. How many are there? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I guess
in
it's-
America, I mean, they still do it in Europe. They make the Judi Dench.
Yeah.
You know, they're still working. Here, if she was an American actress,
She'd be
she couldn't
making
get arrested.
$100.
Right. That's what she would be doing
She'd be making an
if
indie
she
film
was
for
lucky.
$100.
If she was lucky.
Let's start talking about our rules in SAG. What happened? Didn't you run for something?
I lost, but
I
I'm a
voted
delegate.
for you.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Well, hardly anybody voted. That's one of the reasons why.
Oh,
I mean, well, I don't get it. I'm a delegate, and I'll do what I can, and hopefully.
because that really, let me tell you what bothers me now that you're a delegate. What bothers me is that we have this contract for these ultra-low SAG budget films, which, I mean, I'm really glad that we have any kind of thing so that we can get to work, but it's like, the crew is making a lot more. We're making $100 a day.
Everybody but the actor.
I don't really understand that and why that deal was ever made.
Because we're on the low end, as I said before, the actor is it goes back to the days no dogs or actors allowed.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
those
true.
T-shirts?
Well, wait a minute. Let's go back to the days when they used to burn us.
Right.
They thought we were witches. You know, they thought we were like, that we were some.
Now they
kind
burn us financially.
of- Used to set us on fire. on the side of the road and burn us up. It's like, oh, there's an actor.
Yeah.
You know, then they wouldn't even let women act. The men acted the
The
women
men
part.
acted,
I mean,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
crazy.
The Greek, the Greek theater, the stage. I don't know how many people know. Do you know where the stage came from?
No, where?
Italy.
Oh, is that where?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
those
stage.
guys. The Italians always came out with the good stuff, didn't
Oh
they?
yeah, always. We got the
I
best.
love the Italians.
But and even their films, when Lydia Vitali was doing she's doing it in Rome now again, about Anna Mangani,
Uh-huh.
and one of the scenes when she was talking about Victoria De Sico, and about how the script, she says it's so good because there is no script,
Right.
and I think that's where Cassavetes got his idea, and that's where all the because Italian films back in those days with no scripts, even till today, a lot of them are done with no. I mean, there's a basic outline.
Did you see that movie recently, this one that's out right now this year, Blue is the Warmest Color?
No.
Oh, John, you would love this movie. It is so sexy. And these girls, they have a lesbian relationship, but the sex that is in this, you've never seen anything like this. It's a French film. You've never seen anything like this. The director had them for 1 year. He shot every day for a year.
Wow.
That's what the French, with this
Yeah,
French,
yeah.
it was mind-boggling. I sat in that movie like, oh my God, it was like an art form. It wasn't like you were watching porno or
Right.
something. It really was this beautiful art form and this wonderful story. It knocked my socks off. Those two actresses, don't ask me their names. They're
What's
French.
the name of the film again?
It's called Blue is the Warmest Color.
Blue is the warmest color.
And I think you would really,
Well,
really like it.
It's there again. See, films are being done in Europe and Italy, and
That's true.
they're doing the art. They believe in the craft. Here we believe in reality TV, like you said, the
No.
Kardashians or
But I was thinking
16
about
years old playing
this
police
film.
lieutenants.
This film I just did with Justin Lerner. Justin Lerner, Winter Bone was a great movie, and Alex Vanagan, she produced it. She saw him at a festival. He had done another movie called Girlfriend. She approached him, he had another script. So there's a world that a lot of people are not seeing out there. I mean, you can go to Sundance Sunset Cinemas, and you can see some of these movies
Right.
in LA. But if you live in Cookeville, Tennessee,
You're not going to see them.
where I'm from, you're not going to see them.
Well, now thank God for cable, because TV and
Yes, Netflix, you can see things.
Netflix and a lot of these.
Sundance Channel.
I'm a big fan of that, and because one of the things that really gets me is because when we talk about people like Salome Jens and all these other,
Yes.
these great talents, if they lived in Europe, they'd be working all the time.
Yes, they would write material, but for
them. I mean,
yes.
they write plays for Salome, but these not only Salome. There's so many after a certain age in America. Forget
Yeah.
about it. They don't want to.
How about after
Louise
40?
Fletcher and this and that. I mean, she won an Academy Award, and she can't get arrested today.
I know.
I mean, there's so much talent here that's being abused because it's not being used.
That's a good line.
I just made that up, but it's
being
true.
abused because it's not being used. It's very, very true. That's why we have to make
The
our own
art
stuff,
is-
but honey, we have to make our own stuff. That's why Jack and I made this little film. I mean, Jack is a great actor. He really is, besides being a director, but he's
He is a
great
good
actor.
guy. I always
He's-
think of him as Tennessee Williams every
Yeah.
time.
But he's really a great actor, and the fact that he wanted to do that and do it with me, which was an honor for me, I think that that's what we have to do. Now look, we can do it today. 30 years ago, we couldn't do it.
Right, these things here now we can
We
do
couldn't
it.
even have a little camera like that. I mean, look at that camera. It's the size of our hand. That before it would have been, we'd have to be in the studio, and no one would see it.
Right.
Who would see this? No one. Now it's got internet access, people can see it.
It goes up to YouTube, hopefully tonight, a guy have an
Yeah.
old computer. But it's true, because when I did it on public access, now they want you to shoot it and then send it to them. I said, why send it to them when I can put it up myself, on YouTube and Facebook?
And it's because you have a point of view. You have something you want to discuss, something that, so that I think is exciting about the times we're in. Yes, we can look at but I'm so positive. We can look at it and go, oh, well, we didn't get to do that, and it's not happening. But we can also say, wait a second.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's figure out how we're going to do it. You can get in your living room now. You could get together with your friends. You could read scripts. You could put a scene together. You could shoot a short film. That's what people are doing.
But also use the talent that's out there.
Yes.
There's
And
so
right
much
for them.
right for them.
Mm-hmm.
The people who know the business that you and these they could learn so much
I know.
by working with people like yourself. I'm not putting you in an old category, but I'm putting
What are you putting
but,
me in the young category?
well, I'll put you in, as a young actor
Yeah.
who knows. I mean,
I'm still young.
you're not in the same age range as Salome and
No.
Barbara Baines. And
Yeah.
And I say females because it's the female actors that I've learned from the most.
Why do you think?
Because they talk to me. When I used to do scenes in New York, back then they used to videotape all the scenes that you did. And I used to send copies back to
Oh.
Salome.
I
And she
didn't
would
know they
critique
did
them. Yeah, in New York, they did that. And I always remember Salome telling me, well, not always, I mean, I remember her telling me about the scene I did. She says, you were nervous in it. And I
Oh.
didn't feel I was nervous. And then I just had to stop and say, you know what? Maybe Salome knows a little more than I do.
Yeah. And you have someone that you respect.
Right, and I listened to her, and
That's
that's
trying to
okay.
help you.
Well, I know that I knew, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned so much from women. I love women directors. As I said, they talk to you, and it's a whole. I think it's more of a like coming from you. Is that passion?
Maybe. Or nurturing.
The mother
There's a
why I call you
there's a-
mother.
Yeah, that's nurturing.
You know,
though.
you really care about the work and what you're doing, the nurturing, whatever
Yes.
you want to call
Wouldn't
it.
Wouldn't you say that's like the nurturing, like the whole idea that there's someone out there that actually cares about what you're doing? I think about Susan Batson. Do you know Susan Batson?
Maybe
She's
I
an
don't.
actor studio lady. She's a coach for many years. She wrote a book called Truth.
Okay.
Susan is called Truth, and it's Susan Batson. And this book, if you have never read it, you should read that book, because that book talks about three things. It talks about your public persona, that's the who am I, and in acting, that's always our first, there's 5 things. Who am I, who, what, when, where, why.
Say that slowly for the audience.
Slow. Who, what, when, where, why. Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? What's in the way of what I want? There's conflict. There's always, you've got to put it in if there isn't conflict, whatever. But she talks about the public persona. That's what the world sees. Like the world is seeing me sitting here right now, and I look together and, have no problems. Then she talks about the tragic flaw. That every character has a tragic flaw. Every person has a tragic flaw.
Right.
Now you would look at me and you wouldn't think, oh, she's a saboteur. She's sabotaged herself before. I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, a lot of people have. There's sometimes the tragic flaw may be that you're a victim. You've been abused or whatever, or you're a big shot. There's always a tragic flaw inside of every character. There's a public persona of what you put out. There's something that's deep inside of you that's this tragic flaw. And there's a need. Those are the 3 things she talks about. What do I need? What do I need? And when you start to find out those 3 things and they all clash, and she talks about all that. She coached Nicole Kidman. Nicole's thanked her twice at the Oscars. When she did the hours and whatever the other one was. And I can't think of now. And she's one of those, talking about the love of the art form. She loved it. We used to study with her back in New York. And we would be there all night long. I was studying with Uta Hagen, Stella Adler, and Susan Batson, all at the same time. I was crazy. And I was doing scenes in Hagen, I was doing script analysis with Stella, and I was with Susan up all night doing the work. We just had to do the work. And I remember once, my girlfriend, she told her if she really wanted to be an actress, she needed to take her clothes off. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And do some scene or something. And it's like, 3 in the morning, we're smoking the cigarettes and, coffee, we're up all night, and just do it, Ava, take it off. And she just couldn't do it. She fell apart, and she said, I just don't think I really am an actress like you are. And I'm like, I don't know, honey. I remember thinking, I guess you're not one. You can't really. It was such a time back then, It was like late. I guess it was
Isn't that important, though, to be able to take your clothes off?
I guess it is, because you know what? It's a freedom.
Right.
It's a commitment. It's, being private in public. isn't that really what it is?
It's exactly.
It's about being, I got a lot of.
Once you've done it, Catherine, once you've done that, there's nothing else that can stop you. I mean, you've done everything. You've got naked in front to the public. What more can hurt you? What more can embarrass you? Or what, you know? I mean, that's why I always like porn stars. I thought they could be very good actors if they studied, because they were willing to go there.
Yeah, they are willing to go there. I was thinking about how Uta Hagen would teach us about public and private. Lee taught the private moment, where if you would do this thing on stage, that if someone saw you, you would stop immediately, whatever it was.
Right.
And but Hagen would make us work on the fourth wall. The fourth wall is that wall that's out there, because here's 1, 2, 3, you know, like on a stage or even on a film set. The camera's the fourth wall. So that over there, and if you could build that fourth wall and make it whatever it is, you were then in a private world. Now the fourth wall wasn't here, so that we were just this close.
Right.
The fourth wall was, you know, kind of infinite. It went all the way back there. But if you had that, then you were privately in your world. And what is that buzz, John?
That's the microphone.
Oh. So I think that's very, very important, that you learn something that's going to make you feel that private, because not everybody can do that. You know, that's a gift to have. We started in part 1. Now we're in part 3. But part 1, we started with, you know, how do you get that feeling of being alone and private and like there's no one here but us? Because first of all, we're not thinking about other people watching this.
No, you're not. No, hopefully you're not.
No.
The other, you know what? When you talk about the sabotage, it's something that I do with certain things. I just realized that. You know, I was. Well, a lot of people know I was in jail. Notice that. The 7 Ups, which is a movie, which was about an organized crime task force in the Bronx, and those Richard Lynch. That was his first starring role.
Right.
And they're the ones that the real ones arrested me, and I never get picked. You know, parts as a gangster. You know, in organized crime.
Why?
I don't know. Well, the point is, somebody finally asked me to do it, play a part, and then I asked them, "Have you ever seen my work?" And they says, "No," and I went bananas. You know, don't ever call me. You know, because I mean, you want to use me because you know that
Oh, I see.
You know who my background.
Oh, they wanted to use you because they thought you were real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of being nice about it, I sabotage.
You got defensive, and that sabotaged you.
Yes.
Because we all have a saboteur inside of us. We're always sabotaging, and Susan Batson really taught us that early on. I mean, I don't want to go into the sabotages that I've done. I mean, you know.
Speaking again, this is like my Tommy Euro shirt. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
Richie Woodmark.
I like the tie.
Remember his first movie when he kicked the old lady down the stairs in the wheelchair? Hee, my pal! When he was going up to Sing Sing with Victor Mature. My pal! I love that. I did time in Sing Sing, so I relate to that movie.
Sing.
He said, my pal, I'm going up to Sing Sing.
Yeah. I always was fascinated by people that do time.
That was A Kiss of Death. That was the name of the movie. Well, time was doing time, and
doing time. I think I've done time in life before. Yeah. I'm doing time. I'm in situations where, okay, I'm doing time now. You know, I did this thing a few years ago, and I remember Mark Rydell and Marty Landau was doing what was that play?
Sunshine Boys.
Yeah, maybe the Sunshine Boys. And I said, you know what, guys? I'm going to move my family to Tennessee. And they went, oh, that's such a bad idea. Why are you doing that?
I
said,
remember
do you remember that?
Yes, you remember. Didn't you move?
I did. I moved us all. And I took 2 cats, 2 dogs, and my daughter, she was in the 6th grade. I mean, and my husband, and, you know, he wanted to retire. And, you know, I thought, you know, I'll be okay there. I'll be okay. I mean, I'll be near Nashville. I'll be in my hometown of Cookeville. I can find some acting to do there, right? Well, there was nothing there. Right now, Nashville's kind of hot.
Yes.
A lot of people are in Nashville, but when I was there, it was
everywhere
before it got
LA.
hot. Let me tell you, it was so not hot. And there was nothing to do. And I got crazier and crazier every day. And then finally, I said to my husband, honey, we've got to go back. And he went, no. We're not going to go back. I went, you ever got to? and I think he hated me for about a year. But then I just came back and fell right back into my whole world and did my scenes and go to the studio and audition and do things. And I need to do it. I think it's an addiction. I think acting is an addiction.
Well, it's not an addiction. I
It is
wouldn't.
an addiction.
No,
It
it's
is.
a passion.
You can't stop. Okay, it's a passion.
I
Well,
mean,
okay,
an
you can
addiction
say-
is something, I mean, that you can't, no, it's a passion with you. It's not an addiction.
Oh,
I can see your point.
I
mean,
think
people
maybe
could-
because I made that movie about it. I made that movie. Remember that movie I did called Running Out of Time in Hollywood? Did you see that
No, I
movie,
didn't
John?
see it.
Oh,
Is that the
John.
one that, oh, no, wait, is that the one when everybody, it was like interviewing?
No, Running
What
Out
was
of
that
Time
one
in
you did?
I did another one.
It was like, almost like a documentary.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, yes.
Running
yes,
Out of
yes,
Time in
yeah.
Hollywood, and went to 9 festivals, film
Yes, it
festivals.
was, wonderful.
And it was really about
Great
the addiction.
idea.
It was about a 50-year-old woman who was addicted, and she had tried to stop. And it was really truly my story, so it was very
Yeah.
close to being a doc, but it wasn't a doc because, I did things in it that, made it not a doc because they weren't true. They were exaggerated. Not that they don't do docs in reality that are exaggerated, but back then it was kind of a new art form at that point.
No. Do you have a website or anything like that?
I do.
Let's tell people the name of it.
Okay, you ready?
If you don't want to.
No, you ready?
Ready?
Catherine. Carlen.
Carlen.
.com.
Well, no, because then I could put that on here
Yeah.
and all that. Well, listen, Catherine, this was great having you on.
I know.
I mean, you're a gift.
I miss you.
No, you really are a gift, and I can't wait to get this up there, folks, and you're going to see this. Once again, this is Catherine Carlen. She does private coaching and that, and you teach
I'm
scene
just doing
setting.
privates now.
Just doing privates now. And she's wonderful. I recommend her
No, thank
highly.
you.
I mean, don't thank me. You're the one that knows the work. I wish I could. I know the work, but I don't articulate like you guys do.
No.
Because I've been around the studio. I know what the work, but I'm not one of those. I don't. I
Good
guess it's my
teachers.
upbringing.
Yeah.
That I don't like to talk.
Really?
Well, I really am not.
When did that happen? Okay.
I'm not. It's just in my mind. So it never comes across the way I think it should.
Well, I always get a lot from what you say, and I'm really thrilled to be here with you, and I'm glad you're still doing this.
I am too. I mean,
know?
it's a great outlet. Actually, tomorrow will be the last day, so you'll be one of the last shows that we do on this set, because I'll be moving to
A new set.
in January. Hopefully, we get it up and we can get the lighting is good, because the lighting here is fantastic.
Oh, good.
Anyway, Catherine, thank you for coming on, and
Thank you.
and your family, Merry Christmas and Happy New
Yes.
Year. And I will
You
see you at
too.
the studio. God bless you. I
Baby.
love you, darling.
Love